get towards your backline safely or not. The CC is not a big issue for him if he's able to keep the stacking up the Ragnarok and be able to play through that. But I think that it's probably going to be quite good for the side of CB Rush. They have a lot of execute damage potential there. And even if he reaches the backline, if he gets there with below 25% health or around 25% health, that's where Pi comes in and just executes him and doesn't even allow for him to really spike in the fights. They're even adding on the side of Oe, though, the Sivir to try and have even more extra movement speed for this Olaf and a really good late game carry. But I think that a lot of the say in the game early on is going to fall into CB Rush with some of these picks and maybe even adding more potential early game champions to the mix.
Yeah, definitely. And you do see that Mordekaiser ban targeting out the FP champion. That Mordekaiser flex potential is there. But one thing that's kind of reading off as really obvious right now is that Optimal Esports is going for scaling. You have the Lulu,
Yeah.
you have the Shield Kitten buffing up the Olaf, buffing up the Sivir, and so Optimal Esports really just banning out things that kind of target how they want to be able to play the team fight. The Anivia, great ban. That W, the wall, the ultimate, definitely really annoying on the zoning tools. That Oriana, a great early lane oppressor too. One thing that I'm really surprised about is where's Annie?
True. We saw it yesterday. It was a champion that was big. Well, actually, we saw it. To go more specific, yesterday there was the meta shift, and meta shift, it was a really important pick. And a lot of the times it was either banned or picked instantaneously. It find value sometimes. Other times it was a little bit more niche, but it's still surprising to not seeing coming through. I was thinking about maybe we see a Karma coming through from the red side because now having those double enchanters could end up working out. And I'm pretty sure that for the Olaf, having those double enchanters would be even more convincing for him to be able to deal with the backline. But like you're saying, I want to see the Annie also. I think both teams beneficiate from having that Annie, that burst damage potential.
Yeah, we see the Silas being slammed here though for the side of Optimal Esports, and I think it's a great pick. The Maokai, the Varus, and the Pycult are all incredible ultimates to take. I think that puts them in a really good situation where, if OE want to go for something with more initiative, with some more engaged, they can do that with the Silas. One thing that does worry me
Yeah.
is that this leaves room for a counter pick in that middle lane. There's a lot of matchups that Silas can suffer from. I think Annie as a champion, if we see CBR decide to pick it here, would be an excellent pickup. But you know, there it is,
Uh,
PDS. What can I say?
yeah,
I'm a prophet.
exactly. Well, you know your mid lane champions well enough, so I was going to follow you up on that. I think the Annie is a good pick, even though I do think that for the Silas is one of the good ultimates to also try and steal, like having that T-verse burst potential. Even though you don't get the stun necessarily, if I'm not wrong, it's still a good ultimate to try and play with, and it adds extra value to the team. But the Annie here, I really like. You can burst three champions, even four to a certain degree if the Olaf is caught off guard. So it's not a bad champion overall, and I want to see what they close it out. It's a Glad. Okay, so they are going to rush to a backline. They are going to rush into team fights and blow people up as soon as possible.
I mean, quite frankly, I love the comp from the side of CVR. You have this kind of run in. You have like everything that every single champ on CVR has the ability to find an initiation,
Yeah.
find engage, and that's what makes this composition so scary so far. I think Annie, if you're building correctly, can be an absolute DPS menace on towards the back line. There's gonna be a lot of focus and firepower drawn away. And Optimal Esports do have a lot of scaling with that Sivir and with that Lulu.
Yep.
However, they do have a lot of melee skirmish, and that topside 3v3 is looking like it's going to be a really huge toss-up in between your Olaf, Sejuani, Silas compared to your Maokai, Kled, and Annie. I think that's going to be really even, and I think it's really going to be down to player skill, quite honestly.
100% agree. The good thing with that also is that we're bound to see early skirmishes, early fights. So it's bound to be exciting to be able to notice how they go into those fights. I'm really interested in seeing also how much value does Silas find with those ultimates, because I always catalog Silas as a champion that is exceptionally good in mid game that can really allow a team to spike in that certain moment of the game and be able to get a lot of leads. But with the right ultimates as well, he becomes a late game champion because when you add that extra value consistently in fights in a moment where he can get his ultimate in repeat much more consistently, you can really see the value of the Silas in the late game. And I think against CB Rush's comp that has so many good value ultimates, I can see the Silas shining as well. Overall, it's going to be a fun team fighting game. Both teams want to try and team fight, maybe a little bit more peak potential on the side of CB Rush, but I want to see those Dragon fights, those Baron fights, even early Herald fights are going to be really exciting to see from both sides.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one thing that will be, and one thing that really stands out to me is honestly what the Silas can actually choose to build. Silas with that Rod of Ages, with that Catalyst of Eons, is going to have a huge spike there. Base damages on
Yeah.
both Silas and Annie are actually extremely high. And thinking, I think on the LCK, there was this kind of the Annie build was with Rod of Ages. There's also with builds with Leandries and with Ludens as well. And so there's a lot of versatility towards what CBR can do with the Annie, how they want to use the Annie in the team fight. And that's something that I really look forward to in that regards. But yeah, TDS, do you have any kind of closing comments for us, or?
I would say just I'm ready for the game. Like this, for the start of it, it's looking quite spicy. Champion picks that we haven't seen much, so I'm excited to see how it's going to fall down. And I think it's going to be important seeing how much do the champions end up battering, because Annie, we have seen how much of a permaban it can become if you don't know how to handle the champion, and I want to see how much that affects the next game plan as well.
Absolutely, yeah. I was surprised that Annie did fall that far back, but speaking of things that do have to fall back, we are gonna have to fall back towards our little client spectator delay. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with week 1 of the CCS Novice League. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back on towards Summoner's Rift. And TDS, I missed out a crucial detail, but it looks like CBR Rutledge is in the top lane today.
I wasn't expecting that. I'm not against it because I believe in Rutledge, but at the same time, and I also want to point out he's running Ignite, so it's an all-in kill lane, and I'm excited to see if Rutledge can perform. But no level ones, it seems, sadly.
Yeah, I mean, Annie, has that, buff on the passive, and I like I think taking Electrocute is good. I'm not the biggest fan of Teleport. I think Annie as a champion is a lot better in terms of mobility if you have Ghost, or even on damage front where you have Ignite in towards Olaf and Silas, who you would want to Ignite. The failed kind of 5 people run down mid, like Hail Mary, means that there's the ward on Pixel Bush, but looks like no shenanigans early on. And I'm curious to see how the lanes go, how everything plays out, because I thought Rutledge was doing a jungle. I thought the connoisseur. Yeah, we spent all that time preparing for CBR Rutledge jungle, and now he's just swapping lanes again.
They had a game plan, and they didn't want to go with that game plan. They just wanted to go for Rutledge in the top lane, which I'm not against, okay? Like, if they think that Might is going to be better in the jungle and Rutledge is going to be better in the top lane, that's okay. Now I hope to not caster Curse it, and he ends up dying at level 1, which could happen. But I believe in Rutledge. I think he's a capable enough player to go for it. With that in mind, though, talking a little bit about the lanes, I don't expect to see a lot of like action that ends up being going into kills, at least for the first 3 or 4 levels, because of how some of the interactions work. Like, it's really hard to kill some of these lanes because of sustain and also just shielding in general from them. And even the junglers themselves are not junglers that are going to actively try to go into
we see the hook going down on towards 1e3 on 8. That's gonna be a lot of trouble. Hikaru Shiha getting a couple autos down, and that's a lot of pressure on this silver lane already in TDS. This could be dangerous. Mike could go for the E flash. We see another hook being lined up. Ooh, just goes wide.
She didn't die though, so I take that as a small victory. I didn't caster curse anyone just yet.
Yeah, it would be something if first stream back after a year, first game of the season, and we're already having caster curses in already. But this is going to be a difficult lane when you have the Sivir so low already, and with a Varus Pike with such long range, with such great trading tools. It's going to be a world of pain for the AD carry of Optimal Esports.
Sivir also opted though into the exhaust, which I think is smart, going against a ton of damage that can just immediately destroy her. And I think that as long as she's under turret, forming just the sufficient amount of minions that she needs, then it should be good enough for her to stay up onto the other parts of the lane. I think there's going to be a fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Hunter Wolf Steel tried to look for the invade on Blue. Good dodge on the chains from Prophet of Tears. Epi Champion wants to keep looking for more, has that ignite, and so respecting the dual, Rutledge did have that inside move, but they might want to look on Hunter Wolf Steel as well. CBR Rutledge calling for it, Might catching him out. That's a flash out of Sejuani as well. Great use of the Arctic Assault to get on up. The hook from Kanina. Why is the Pike here? Ignite coming down from Rutledge. Prophet of Tears picks up the first blood, and CBR firing on all cylinders already.
You know what? After the Ignite came down, I would have liked it better to give the kill to Rutledge, because now he doesn't have the Ignite onto the Olaf in the top lane. But great rotation, great realization coming in from the side of CB Rush. They leave open the bot lane a little bit so that the Pike can roam out. Oh, wait a second.
Yeah, here we go. Pike wants to go for the Ornal. MX Tato might be in trouble. The stun is going to be able to land on towards the Lulu there. Hikaku Uchiha does get exhausted, forces the flash out. The lethal tempo stacking from the Sivir is doing a lot of work, and looks like it's just going to be a trade of summoners in the bottom lane. Flashes up for both AD and support for Optimal Esports, though.
Hanaina woke up today and comes for blood. Going everywhere in the map, just wanting to get those kills, wanting to get the action going. Really nice from the Pike, forcing the plays. I really love the rotation that Hanaina did previously. It was a little bit unexpected, but it's the kind of thing that this supports with the hooks can go and do. Just move around and support the rest of the map. Wait.
Yeah, speaking of the rest of the map, the Hunter Wolf Steel wants to look on towards Prophet of Tears. Nice. Great stun on towards 2. Should be able to live. The Kingslayer not going to be able to chunk out enough health. And Maya is here as well. Looks for the flash on towards the Sejuani though. Hunter Wolf Steel is still pretty tanky. That W second chain does this, but it looks like Maya is going to go down as, as a result. Epi Champion takes a tower shot though, and it's going to be a 1-for-1 so far. Hunter Wolf Steel wants to look for more than the flash forced out of Annie. No ignite, only the stun available for Prophet of Tears, and it looks like that's going to be the end of that play. But TDS a little bit of nerves there coming out from Optimal Esports.
Everyone just asking to fight, and yeah, it's the epic champion that looked so good. The kill should have gone so easily to them after the flash from the Maokai, but the little misstep at the end to just end up taking that turret shot and dying, really biting him back. They did get the flash of the Annie back, which I think is a good thing to try and repeat gank onto mid lane, but the trades have been going in favor of CB Rush so far. 2-1 in kills, doing better in the farm department in general. Apart from this top lane, I think the biggest deficit, everywhere else is looking really good, and having that first blood also onto them is quite important so that they can keep the farm going in their favor.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing that I'm looking at is actually just in this mid lane matchup, you see that Annie has the lost chapter completed already. That's a really scary sight. You look at the electrocute, look at the chunk. That's a third of the health bar of Epi Champion. Just sitting on that blasting wand is not going to be very fun for this Silas. No health available. The Annie can trade with so many resources, but does have that level 6 hers. Means that there should be some safety and not really a chance for any kills. Does look like PBR will go for the dragon though.
Well, they did start it. I think they have full control, so there's barely any opportunity to even contest it. You can see even Hunter Wolf just on the other side of the map, farming as much as possible. One thing that I don't like though is that Prophet of Tears did share way too much XP with the other people that came through the lane, so that means that her level 6 is going to be a little bit later.
Tato might be in trouble, both getting knocked out from the pike. The flash force super early. I mean, it's good reservation, just make sure that you're not risking anything, but the pressure that Kanina is able to generate here, that's going to be a lot of chunk damage on towards Epi Champion, and once again, that lost chapter is just doing so much work for Prophet of Tears here.
The more traits like that we see, the more you have to question yourself, what if the Annie had Ignite? Because that is always looking like a potential trade or a potential kill angle for the Annie, and it's looking like she can go for it, but because of the lack of Ignite, maybe she doesn't have enough damage or enough heal cut to stop the Silas from surviving. Still, those traits are really good. They are bringing people here, and I think we're going to see another fight.
Yeah, we're going to see a brawl here. Prophet of Tears going to trade with the Epi Champion here. Does have that Annie ult, does have the Tibbers available. Hunter will Steel showing himself up on the map as well, but looks like that's going to be the end of that play. MX Tato going to be able to walk on out of there. And, CB Rush definitely just showing a lot of control over the map, a lot of dictation of how they want plays to go. And Optimal Esports are trying to respond. Hunter Wolf Steel going to go for that slingshot. Misses, not going to be able to land that Glacial Prison, and that's a key cooldown down for the Rift Shield that's going to come up.
I respect the attempt. I'm sad that it didn't work out because I think the idea wasn't bad, especially going under turret to try and burst her out before she even gets a chance to answer. But with that, like you're pointing out, the Rift Herald is a little bit riskier to try and go into Elsa.
Oh, Elsa from Brosen gonna get all in by Rutledge here. Both ultimates forced out from the top lane. Rutledge following up the flash. We see the bot lane as well. Jasoncript going down towards Lulu. And MX Tato is looking good as dead here. Olaf was able to survive in the top lane, but Hikaku Uchiha shows that Optimal Esports can't get lucky on both lanes.
It's a play on both sides of the map, and it's both in favor of CB Rush. They both try to force it, the bot lane gets the kill, top lane doesn't get it, but forces both summoners out of the Olaf, and I think that this is we're going to see a couple of times more. Maybe now Elsa feels confident enough to go for the kill?
Yeah, Elsa is going to walk in towards Rutledge here, but we see Hunter Wolf Steel pathing towards that bot side. We see the Twisted Advance coming down for the Maokai, though Rutledge is going to be able to survive, but it looks like Might is going to be able to pick up a hungry pig here. Hunter Wolf Steel going to flash forward on towards the Pike with a root at the last second, means that they are going to be able to trade a 1-for-1. 1E, 3-1A is going to be able to trade the kill on towards Varus as well. Double kill going over towards the Sivir, and TDS, this AD carry, this Sivir, she wants to win, she wants to be able to scale onto that late game. Picking up those 2 kills on towards the bot lane of CB Rush. This Sivir scaling lifeline is looking like it's a real viable option right now.
Exactly, 2 kills onto the Sivir is always great. Even a play to add on top of that if they are able to get it here. And you have to question a little bit on how CB Rush ended up playing that. Not because the decision was bad, but because they misplayed it a little bit. I think the Bramble Smash, I think it's called that, the Bramble Smash from the Maokai moved out the Sejuani from the stun of the Pike, which ended up just making it harder to get that kill onto the Sejuani. At the end they get it, but Sivir had so much time to ramp up her damage to keep on going for the out attacks, and that's why at the end we see that trade going much more favorably in the side of OE. Ooh,
Yeah, but speaking of
Droplet.
things that might not be as favorable, Rutledge might be in trouble here. Gonna get stunned up by that Sejuani as well. Will he be able to live off of that D-Man? That Q able to buy some space with the ultimate from Elsa from Frozen means that that's gonna be a kill going over towards that Olaf. A huge CS lead, a kill in his favor too. And you know what they say. If Elsa has 1 million fans and I'm one of them, if the world is against Elsa, then I'm against the world. Trying to keep that win condition in the top lane alive too.
Fair enough, and so far working out really well. Not only has the kill, has the CS advantage as well. So the game is much closer than at first it was looking to be with how CB Rush was setting up. I think a lot of that has to be credit of OE. Trying to be proactive, trying to go for those kills, trying to not be a step behind CB Rush, which was looking like that may have been the matter, but I like that they are not shying away from those things. With this though, I think that the game gets in a spot where if OE is able to keep it like this for at least 10 minutes more, the Sivir will be close to online. They have been able to buy enough time, and I think that they should be looking for that late game at that point.
Yeah, if we can get a check on a gold here, I believe Sivir, only around 600 gold until that mythic item is complete. In fact, yeah, Sivir will be able to get that first mythic on her base, and
Yep.
11-minute Kraken Slayer is looking really dangerous here. Highest on the gold right now in the game, 4,000 gold to 1E318 name. So, that's going to be a really dangerous looking situation here, and we see the Kraken Slayer should be bought by now. I see Hunter will steal. He's going to be able to catch on this bot lane. Rift Herald in the hands of the Sejuani as well. They're probably going to think towards using that in the bot lane too.
Typical jungler stealing CS from the laners. There's always someone like that. But with that in mind though, I think that a lot of the game now gets a little bit more in control for OE. Like you were talking about, the fact that the Kraken Slayer is already in their favor. Even if they lose this dragon, it's just the second dragon. It's not soul point yet, so they are not in huge need to fight this. The Sivir is already in a great spot. The Sylas opting for the Rod of Ages like we were talking about. He's going to be tanky as soon as he completes it and it begins stacking up. I think the pace of the game is looking super favorably for OE. They are in a really good spot in terms of gold and in terms of map pressure.
I mean, look at this top lane right now,
Yeah.
Elsa from Frozen, is really letting it go on towards Rutledge's lane right now, up 2 levels on the Kled, up 40 CS, up a kill. How many tower plates did Elsa from Frozen just collect there? I mean, that's a huge payday, and considering that Herald will be used towards bot side, OE are definitely happy with with that reward there. Might is on the bot side here, maybe covering for a potential counter gank on towards, Hunter Wolf Steel, but with the way it's going, OE are definitely getting to that scaling condition faster than I would have anticipated.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. I think that it's a risky situation for the side of CB Rush if they let the game keep being in this type of spot where they cannot force it.
Oh, chance of corruption going down on towards the blue. Hunter will steal, blocks the pike hook, gets the stun on towards the pike. Wow, 175 gold does only go in towards the hands of the Sejuani, but Hunter Wolf Steel, CBR Rutledge's former jungler, showing him why he should have kept him on his team. My goodness, TDS, what a great defensive play there from the side of OE.
100%. That was really nice. Denying the potential kill there. We need to remember that now Kanaina has the ultimate, which means that every target that gets in a spot where they can die, they are probably going to die. They have the ultimate to execute you in a certain life threshold. So I'm sure that getting that block there, it's really the difference between MX Tato living or dying. Really nice play there by Sejuani. They still get the plate, so all in all, it's still gold value for them. And on the top side, Olaf is still pressuring. I like that they are trying to answer here, though. Ooh.
Yeah, we see a trade in the mid lane, though. FP Champion going in hard on towards Prophet Tears. That's an Ignite going down on the Annie as well. Is the burn gonna be enough? Is the enemy Tibbers gonna be enough? Answer looking like no, but really crucially, I wanted to point out too that the farming and the CS on each of the lanes is going extremely well for the side of OE too, and then I think that's gonna be a lot of health, a lot of gold stack. You see the gold leads are starting to build up. That's a huge gold lead in the top lane, 1,400 around for the side of Elsa from Frozen, and I gotta point something out, TDS. I don't like the fact that Annie went Ludens. I think it should be a Leandri's game. You have Olaf, Sejuani, Sylas. These are HP stacking champions. So I'm a little bit disappointed here as a resident Annie expert.
I was thinking more. I was more of the Rod kind of side of the angle here, but I do agree. If you're opting into the Lost Chapter anyway, I think the Liandry's here would have been really good. That extra burn that you get, like it can even allow for Varus and Maokai to get those bit of the extra damage that you always are looking for, and it's also almost always really good against champions that will get some sort of healing. Like the burn from the Liandry's is always really valuable in that regard as well. Could have been a little bit better in that sense, but at the same time I can see why you're opting into the Ludens, because if you feel like you need to burst someone out before anything happens, then I can see why you're opting into the Ludens. And that may be the reasoning for the Annie here, right? To destroy the Sivir before she achieves anything.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, like, you know, CBR has a heavy committal composition team. You see Alpha from Frozen want to go in on towards CBR Rutledge here. It's going to be a good chunk on the Conqueror. Hunter Wolf Steel waiting in the mist. Will CBR Rutledge walk up a little bit too far? Will he go for the gank here? We won't know, but Kanaina, we see the Pyke here pathing up, creeping up on this map, hovering around the river, wanting to make a play here, but we see Trade in the mid lane not going the most smoothly for either mid lane. But we see the Kanaina just forced to burn the flash instantly.
Really dangerous situation that CBR Rush is opting now. The fact that Kanaina has to blow the flash defensively because it's the Pyke is getting pressured is a really worrisome trend. And one thing that I'm also getting worried about here with how Kanaina is opting is that we've seen Kanaina moving around the map quite a bit. Like the support should be doing, because you have a hook champion that can really impact other lanes. But Owi has managed that out super well. I don't remember the last kill that Kanaina was involved that wasn't really involved in his own lane anyway. Like moving around with the Pyke, not getting anything really going apart from that first blood, it's not a good showing for the Pyke. And I think that goes a lot of credit towards OE, because they've managed out the ganks from the Pyke super effectively.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it kind of looks like a situation where, you know, CBR wants to play towards that top side 3v3 skirmish, maybe get in that support roam, especially because, you know, you would prefer that Pyke's roam in comparison to the Lulu roam. But the thing is, that just leaves the Sivir on an island. Right now, you look at the item comparison, Kraken Slayer and Zeal compared to a Blade of the Ruined King. Sure, Bork is a decent psych to the Varus, but you see here, we see that, oh, you want to go for the fight. Jasoncript going down on towards the Zoe, the Soul and Maokai ultimate going both ways. The Olaf just running the carries down. Property is going to get melted down off the map. We see the Sivir Blades just spinning away. Epic Champion finds the chase from downtown. And it looks like Rutledge is going to get picked off here. Also from Frozen, going to be dissuaded by the tower shot there. But OE just wiped the floor with that fight. The Epic Champion picking up that Twisted Bats, picking up the Maokai ult, and just dogpiling CBR.
And that's why the difference in favor of the Olaf was so crucial. You have the Lulu, you have the Olaf combo, they just run into the backline and destroy everyone. I love the aggressiveness that OE showcased in that fight. They went all in without any worries about anything. And at the end, they not only get out with the dragon in hand, but they also got 4 kills in the process. Huge teamfight win for OE. Huge performance coming up from Elsa from Frozen, and also MX Tato being able to buff up consistently. And this is the worry that we were having with CB Rush. The fact that they are getting behind against a composition that would rather scale, that can take the fight to you later on in the game. But there's also champions that can force themselves onto you in the mid game, like this Sylas, the Olaf to a certain degree, and this Sejuani that even without her mythic, she's kind of tanky.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that just really worries me is that, you know, CBR have a composition that want to go and they want to be the ones that initiate first. But Epi Champion, you know, he said no, like, you know, and he kind of just said, people stop, bro. He kind of just went for it, took the Maokai, no hesitation, ran on in. But Elsa Frozen wants to keep on running on the chain, going down the chain, twisted advance, just not going to be enough. Silas able to pick up 2 is ready. Double kill going over towards Epi Champion. Sivir coming in, the exhaust coming down as well. And that's just be another team fight wipe for the side of OE. Triple kill going over towards the Epi Champion. No hesitation from the side of OE. They are not letting CBR breathe.
OE really is running the clock as soon as they can. Like, this is the thing I was expecting to see 10 minutes from now, or 29 minutes, not 19 minutes. That's such a good lead that OE has, such a good way to pressure up the game, and maybe they're going to even kill this Annie here. Prophet of Tears, you need to be careful.
Run, little girl, run! I mean, Epi's probably dead here. I think right now the real situation is, if you're CBR, how are you going to be able to get on out of this pit? Because, you know, you haven't been coordinated enough to find it engage, and when you did try to engage on towards Elsa from Frozen, there's no point going in on Olaf, so CBR has a lot of questions that they need to answer fast. Otherwise, this game is going to slip out of their hands.
I think the name of the game now becomes picks galore for CB Rush. You need to get 4 picks at least, I think, consecutively on either Lulu, Sylas, or Sivir. Those are the 3 champions that I can see you killing consistently, because those are the ones that you can get the CC down on, the damage down on, and then also be able to run away before someone else gets, because you're able to kill them quickly. Even the Sylas sounds a little bit hard now that I think about it because of the Rod of Ages, but if they don't manage to get these kills on these champions particularly, the game becomes super difficult for them to play out. We talked about how the Sivir is going to scale, and she's already doing quite a good job, even though I dislike the fact that she's not opting into either IE or Navori second. Like, you're missing out on your damage. But all in all, I still think that OE is in such a great spot, and it's on CB Rush to find the really small angles to get back into the game.
Yeah, I mean, going on about itemization here, TDS. You see the locket of the Iron Solari on the Lulu, and I want Prophet of Tears is going to make me cry, quite frankly, because I believe that is going to be a Horizon focus on the Annie, which is a very, very bad item. Not very good here, and
Yep.
you know, the itemization, it's intentional from the side of OE. I like the locket. Oh, but we see here a fight coming out. Hunter Wolf still dropping out that ultimate as well. This is what CBR wants to do, blow up one particular champion. See Kanye going in towards the backline. Also from Frozen, gonna get the TP down as well. See Taku Uchiha is able to get the kill on towards the Sejuani, but also from Frozen is just letting it go. My goodness, CBR backline have no chance against that Olaf, that speed, that man is just chopping them down, and he is able to pick up the return kill, pick up that shutdown. It's gonna be a 2 for 3, but the tankiness from the side of OE is just too much, and the Epi champion is just dominating right now. CBR running out of answers here, TDS.
They are running out of answers, they are running out of time, and I'm not sure how much more they are going to get. See that fight, that is so well played from the side of OE, even though they are the ones that are getting started on. Like, that was something that we were asking CB Rush to do. Maybe not onto the Sejuani, because it's the hardest champion to kill, and we saw a perfect example of why the Sejuani is probably not the best target. Took way too long to kill, and when they were able to kill, everyone responds from the side of OE. They get answered back, they die, then the fight no longer looks that good. Now we're looking for a potential fourth dragon fight. I honestly don't think CB Rush should fight this even. I just think they should give it up, because if they try to go in and they lose, that is not only Baron, but I think that's game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, honestly, you know, Worry Brothers, it's starting to build up here, TDS. You see the silver items almost completion onto so they might look on to Rutledge here. See here, also from Frozen, just going to start running down, forces the flash out of the Kled already, and you know, sorry, going back to the itemization, Sivir almost has that Navori completed. You see Varus not even close to that mythic item completion. You see the Annie not even having boots complete as well, and it looks like CBR still posturing like they might want to see if there's any inkling of hope here. Kled does have that ultimate available on the wings. We see Kanaina looking for a hook, maybe Rutledge gonna get engaged on by Epi Champion here. That's a lot of damage. That might be a single dingle here, TDS. It's looking dangerous for the Epi Champion. The Kled ultimate stolen down. One more, anything would do it. Red team picks up the dragon. Epi Champion picks up the single dingle, and it's an 8,000 gold lead, TDS. It is not looking great.
This is not looking great. 8,000 gold lead on one side, also 11 kill advantage on the other as well. Even the turret advantage is in their favor. They have all going for them. They are going to take another turret, and they are going to keep the pressure up.
Yeah, you see, like,
Olaf just immune.
She just walks away. Giga Chad.
Olaf is immune. That's the main issue here. Well, at least you could see the positive that they got the ultimate out of the Olaf, which means that now for the next fight, he doesn't have it, and you can try and play through that, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, right now for CBR, it's really just they have to keep track of what resources they can and or can't like exploit. You know, if I'm CBR right now, mentally I'm tracking. Okay, Olaf has no ult. If we see him on the map, we should run to him as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Sylas has no Kled ult. Maybe we can send Kled at Sylas and try to find a kill somewhere from that angle. You know, aside from that, it's starting to look desperate here. You know, I think we're kind of in a position where OE need to make a mistake for CBR to find a way back into the game.
If I'm 100% honest, I think it's more than just one mistake.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see CBR forced out the river here. Hunter Wolf steal imposing himself over his former team. Kind of a grudge match here. Picking up that dominance 1-4-13 on Sejuani, 2 items. That Radiant Virtue done as well. There's just so much pressure and such big a front line that CBR just can't chew through right now.
It's just looking way too difficult for the side of CBR. I think they can also utilize the opportunity to think for the next game, what are some things to try and change out? What is something that they can look to positively change? Because I don't think it's necessarily on the champion side. I think it's more so on the play side, which they kind of failed and ended up affecting them and got to this point.
Yeah, they are going to be looking at the Baron now. We see the Epi champion taking that stolen twist.
Oh, no.
He's going to engage straight on towards Rutledge. Kaina not be able to get the stun on towards anyone. Olaf goes unstoppable again. Shutdown picked up for the side of Kaku Uchiha, though. That Varus is doing some free hitting, but look at the Silver melting it away. But Rutledge is still alive. Rutledge is hitting away. Might try to stall some time for that remount, but it's not going to be enough. Even though the Silver and Silas, the carries, are down, that Olaf Elsa from Frozen is not melting away. Double kill going over towards the OE top laner, and they turn their sights back on towards the Baron.
It was looking promising. There was an opportunity. They took too much damage from the Baron, but at the end it's simply not enough. The difference in gold, the difference in composition, and the difference in champions are just simply way too difficult to end up getting. Elsa from Frozen just survives through everything, gets the Ragnarok, just runs through everyone and gets the kills onto multiple members. Such a good game from the sub laner. 7-1, died just once, and it was kind of a random death, if in all honesty. Perfect play so far from this Olaf.
Yeah, I mean that Baron, you know, it was a great idea from OE to go on Rutledge, make sure he couldn't get that ult off in the immediate moment. But you know, Epi Champion and 1E318 just really short range characters. You know, if they go in towards the AOE of the Annie, in towards the Chains of Corruption, in towards the Maokai AOE as well, they're taking a lot of base damage without realizing it. So that, I think, you know, that's how they were able to die. But you still look at the items here. Death Cap almost going to be done for Epi Champion. You see the Vori completed from the side of the Silver. Elsa from Frozen might just start running down Kainaina. They're forced to use that dive to go on into Flash as well. You know, Olaf, Elsa from Frozen is still going to go for the chase. Oh, why'd you hook it back into your team? Top of Tears is going to die for your sins too. And Maokai had that twisted advance from the side, but it wasn't going to be enough. The Flash forced down to Might as well. That's what happens when you go for AP and Hunter Wolf Steel just running down this Varus. The Flash as well. Auto attack from 1E318, able to pick up the kill. That's 3-0 so far for the side of Multiple Esports, and they're going to look on towards this poor Maokai as well. You see Rutledge coming on and is able to pick up 1 kill as consolidation, but it's just not going to be enough here. Rutledge against the world. Gonna go for the stolen Kled ult as well, forcing the Flash out of that Kled, and they're tower diving their tier 2 TDS. They want all the smoke here, and just like that, OE pick up the late ace. They are gonna be able to get the trade kill on that tower, but it looks like the tier 2 will go over towards OE. They're gonna take their resets and go for the dragon. Oh, Kainaina wants some more, fails the R. Flash donates the kill over to Epi Champion.
Talk about a perfect way to describe how this game has been going in general. Failed the Flash ultimate. I think Kainaina started out really well, but the game just went so out of control when the attempts never worked out. And at that point, it's just you're going to try and get a trade. If you kill the Silver, you get a lot of gold. If you kill the Silas, you get a lot of gold. So it's not a bad idea to go for that, but it doesn't work out for Kainaina. And that means that it's also going to be Drake, apart from the turrets that they get. I feel like we're at a point where OE could have honestly with that Baron just push to try and open the base. They don't have the Baron anymore, so they are going to maybe take a little bit longer to try and close out the game, but they're in a spot where it feels so comfortable for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're in a position right now where OE kind of have the driver's keys right now. You know, Deathcap completed on Epi Champion. You see that BF and Stopwatch done for the Silver too, and you know, it's an 11,000 gold lead here. I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, OE kind of just want to run down mid, go for as much standing gold as they can get, and kind of force CBR choked up in towards their own base. You know, you haven't seen enough from the Annie. I haven't seen enough from the Pike pick to justify them. The Kled also just not be able to perform up to expectation. You see the Chains of Corruption just going wide, and you see instantly Hunter Wolf Steel going for the turn. Twisted Advance going down as well in both directions, and both teams kind of just do nothing. But once again, yeah, CBR choked up into their own base. They only have the Kled ult and the Annie stun as their ways of engage right now. They're running out of options here slowly here, TDS.
Luckily, for some reason, we decided that they want to disperse in the
Oh wait,
position
Rutledge wants
next
to
to
go
you.
in now on towards the loop.
Yeah,
I don't know if you want to be going in by yourself there.
the
This is gonna be a
35
free
though.
hit by. And he missed the stun, TDS.
Oh
Probably the nearest
no!
choke when it matters the most. Epi champion coming in from the side as well. It's just gonna be a cleanup fight from the side of OE. You might as well wrap it up right here, TDS. OE, they want the smoke, they want the ace. Rutledge gotta get taken down by his former teammate here. It's gonna be a triple kill going over towards the Sivir, and CBR gonna go down here in game 1.
I was gonna wait till Rutledge died to really wrap it up. But yeah, at this point, it should be done and dusted. Really good game from OE, really nice performance from all 5 members, greatly played. That last play from Silver Rush though, I think it wasn't a bad idea. Like, I honestly think the decision from Rutledge there is good. For one particular reason. Both Silas and Olaf were going towards the side lanes. That means that they had space to try and go for the 3v5. But when you go for a 3v5, you cannot misplay and fail the abilities that you're trying to play. That Annie stun was so massive if it hits, but it just fails. And sadly, it cost them a lot of the damage onto the Sivir. The champions finally arriving, and he dies immediately. So it's just such a difficult situation at that point. They had the right plan, maybe a little bit too late, but it was the right plan, sadly.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was. I think one thing that disappoints me was that they were only going for those plays near the end of the game. This
Yep.
is, desperation. They look for the engage as a final act of desperation, and it just didn't pay out for the side of CBR. What do you think should be kind of adjusted going in towards that next game, TDS?
Like I was saying, I don't think it's necessarily an issue with the draft. Maybe try and play a little bit different champions. Maybe someone that has wave clear in the mid lane to try and make it easier for you to move around or just be able to deal with these situations. But I think the biggest issue to me was how they managed out the situations between the 8 to 15-minute mark. That was around the time where a lot of the deaths were happening not in favor of CB Rush. They were losing positioning and also advantages all around the map. Like we knew that Elsa was really ahead in lane just based on CS, but then gets a kill. So also puts a damper on how they were trying to get back into the game and try and get it rolling. They also gave a couple of kills to the Sivir in a play that wasn't bad, but they played wrongly as well. So it's just a combination of, I think, in-game mistakes that if they can change in the next game, it should be a much better game from them. I don't think the composition was the main issue.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, definitely some execution errors, some nerves from the first game of the season, but
Yeah.
hopefully CBR can turn it around. Hopefully OE, hopefully for the side of OE, they don't want to see that happen. We'll only find out in game 2 TDS. So ladies and gentlemen, we'll go to a short break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back for game 2 between CBR and Optimal Esports at the CCS Novice League. right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Game 2 between Optimal Esports and CB Rush of the CCS Novice League. And going in towards pick ban here, immediately I see a draft adjustment. I see that Lulu ban coming out from CBR.
Exactly. They are going to try, even taking the Sivir away. So a lot more focus towards the bot side. I think the names are flipped because it should be Sivir Rush on the blue side, OE on the red side. So I think
No,
I
I
think
think
that
you're
should be
good.
fixed. Yeah, okay, then is it me that I'm watching? Okay, no. Yeah, now it is. I
There we go.
was blind for a bit, but yeah. So focusing more on the bot side, we did see the power from the Sivir and the Lulu, I think mix between good plays and bad plays from both sides. It ended up showing how strong they were. No Maokai ban though, no Sejuani ban. Annie is still open, and I think that Annie is still a powerful enough champion if you can play it effectively. So I hope that both teams try to put a little bit more focus there. But it is
Ah,
something that we were talking about. More wave clear on the mid lane from Silver Rush.
Mhm. Yeah, they're going for that Victor pivot for the blue B1 pick, and this is a completely different draft from the side of CVR. Having Victor as your B1 opens you up to a lot of different responses from the side of Optimal Esports. Epi Champion notoriously has a interesting mid lane champion pool. Has a lot of different picks that he is
Yeah.
able to pick up. So I'm interested to see what he decides to go for. But this does mean that Hunter Wolf Steel is going to be piloting that Maokai this game.
Taking the Maokai this time around. Last game, I think Asta Sejuani did a good job at being the main initiator, trying to be the one that put the most pressure when trying to go in. On the side of OE, Maokai can do something similar, but the MIBs are going to be the main focus since you do start for that demonic embrace before going for your mythic. And that means that it's going to be a little bit more consistent damage than having that engaged potential. Followed up by the Galio potentially. So maybe wanting to have more engage or follow up to the engage here. Really interesting decision. Not a bad matchup against the Victor, but I think that Galio right now is not in the spot where he was previously, where he could essentially answer to any mid laner or any mage in the mage in the mid lane.
I know for me personally, I'm heavy on playing Victor. So one thing that I think about a lot is if I see a Galio, if I'm able to communicate the fact that Galio can roam first, that he'll have first shove on the wave, and that he'll be able to move around the map first. If my team is able to play around that, not let Galio be able to get anything off of these roams and off of these like shoving plays, then I'm really happy as a Victor player.
Yeah.
So in terms of how this translates to the game, I think CBR is really gonna have to make sure that they're communicating where this Galio is going, how they want to be able to play their lanes, and just respecting the idea that Galio Maokai can go bot for a 4-man or go top and 3-man dive whatever top laner. So I like the Xayah response as an anti-dive tool. I think that's a great pick, and so the CBR draft already looking a lot better than last game.
I agree 100%. They have way better tools for the late game power that they probably want to play with the Xayah and the picture. They have disengage potential thanks to the picture and the Sejuani. They also have engage potential thanks to the Sejuani and the Xayah. Even better now that you have even more champions that are going to dive into you. You kind of were preemptively going for it with the Galio and the Maokai. Now this Kai'Sa is just the extra flavor to add onto a dive potential there. And I think that OE are going to commit to playing for that dive. Because if you're already drafting 3 champions, you have to close out the circle. You cannot just go where one side is going to dive, then the other is not going to dive. Like that doesn't work that effectively, especially against a composition that can try and dissuade the dive from happening. You need to either commit or don't commit at all.
Yeah, I mean, what I really want to see from the side of OE is actually picking Camille on 4, getting a good support counter pick on 5, or maybe the other way around. I think Camille Galio is an absolutely ridiculous combo. I think that, if we are able to get that lockdown onto the Zion anyway, I like the Renata ban. That's a really great ban in terms of, anti-dive support champion. So it's a good direction so far. I'm really curious to see how OE can round this comp off, and, if CBR can draft the correct anti-dive tools. I think there's a lot of great champions for that. Cassante, Furor options just to kind of split up the map a bit more. I would really like to see a more protective support. Maybe something like a Soraka would do wonders here. So, CBR have a lot of room to work with, but it's going to be down to how OE choose to move first.
I agree. Actually, the Silas, the Silas. No, I was thinking of Jarvan 4 as a champion as well to think about on the side of OE because you can send Maokai support and then play the Jarvan on the jungle as well. You have now much more precise engage to follow there with the dive, and you have a lot of value there. Not opting immediately into the Camille. I think Camille stylistically makes more sense, but Jax is a champion that
Jackson is
does
broken.
like to dive in. Yeah, and he's stronger right now, so makes sense why they are opting into the Jax. This also gives them another threat in case maybe their plan originally doesn't work out, these Jax will function really effectively as another threat. And I want to see if they go for a tank support or if they want to try and play around the fact that Maokai can be a flex there.
I mean, right now, you see Maokai, you see Galio, you see Jax. These are three really beefy frontline champions. We see a Cho'Gath coming out for
Okay.
Rutledge in the top lane there. That's definitely. I didn't expect that there, TDS, but I actually think it's a good pick. The silence, the rupture, the AoE. Not to mention that when Optimal Esports decide to go for that dive, that chomp, that feast, can punish a champion if they
Yeah.
aren't synchronized in that dive. So I actually like the pick. It's a unique pick. It's definitely something Rutledge is pulling out from the magician's hat, but I like it.
It's one of the champions that I think have been rising up much more in priority, thanks to the fact that now tanks feel a little bit better. Like the Sion, the Cho'Gath is one of those champions that I really like. The Chump here is going to work out really well because if you misstep as the diving team, one R from the Cho'Gath will just completely destroy you. And now you also have double smite, so it's not like objectives are going to be easily stolen from you or not fightable on the side of CB Rush. The Thresh is disengage potential. It's also peak potential in case you want to re-engage into the fight, and it's an extra way to keep someone safe thanks to the lantern. But yeah, they are going to close the circle here with another engaged champion, and it's going to be commitment based game for OE. They need to go in. They need to all play as a team and go in. Because if one member is lacking on how they want to go for the dive, I think that Rush has such a good composition to deny them.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that immediately stands out to me though is the amount of magic damage that OE does have. You have the Maokai, you have Galio, you
Yep.
have Kaisa passive, Jax, Alistar, all have magic related damages. Force of Nature will be really important on the front lines. Mercury Treads, even more important. Tenacity runes. I think OE, they're playing a dangerous game in the sense of heavy commitment. You look at that composition, it is so telegraphed that all OE want to do is go in. So if CBR is
Yep.
able to coordinate themselves, call out Galio rooms, call out Alistar rooms, call out how they want to play the fights. I think a coordinated CBR will be able to win this game. But, OE, with their kind of decisiveness that they showed last game, it's looking really promising for them too.
Yeah, it's a kind of composition that you play if you're confident enough to play it. Because you have to not only commit well enough as a team, but you cannot make the mistakes that would just destroy you completely in the composition. It feels similar to the previous game where I think by mid game I was expecting CB Rush to be the one going in with their composition from the previous game and destroy the side of OE with that and not allow them to get to the late game. I think OE opting for a similar angle, even though I do think that there's a little bit better scaling compared to the previous game for CB Rush. It's still a lot on what they can accomplish in the mid game. How well can they go in for those early dragon fights, for those early herald fights, get the most goal out of that, and try to snowball the game through that advantage if they get it early on. Because if they let the game go longer, CB Rush has such a good scaling comp.
Absolutely. And TDS, speaking of things that have to go on longer, we are going to have to go for a little bit of a wait while the spectator delay goes on. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We'll see if OE is able to close out the series or CBR can take us to keep fighting. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with CCS Novice Week 1. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back on towards Summoner's Rift. CBR wants to take that game back into their hands. OE wants to close it out here. See that same 5-man mid lane strat the CBR going for, but OE not taking the bait again.
They are not going to fall for it once more. I hope that there's more level 1 action, more blood early on, and they are trying to look for it, but I don't think nothing is going to happen apart from that vision.
Yeah, I mean, so let's see. A couple of things off the bat are interesting. We see the Ghost on the Galio alongside the Aftershock. We see the Glacial Augment on the Cho'Gath too. Hook goes wide from Kanaina. A little bit of early trading here, so definitely a little bit more action than last game's level 1 TDS, that's for sure.
True. Although I think in the previous game we saw a couple of kills early on which were really fun, not in level 1, but after level 1, like we saw quite a bit of action, quite a bit of kills. So hopefully it's pretty similar to that. Just wanted to comment also on the Galio Ghost. I really like the fact that the Galio is taking the Ghost. Teleport is always good to try and respond, but I think the Ghost value is sometimes overlooked because of how effective Ghost ends up being sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely, and hope I want to check if Galio took Nimbus Cloak actually, because I think that's just such an important rune, for a Galio player. So if we could get that, just to have that confirmation, that would be great. But so far lanes are looking pretty even. We see also from Frozen taking that counter strike first, and Rutledge getting punished with a couple auto attacks.
Tried his best to get the better of the trade, failed there, so not the best that could happen. At the end though, I think that this lane is going to be quite good for Elsa. Obviously it's against a tank, so I don't expect a lot of action to happen early on.
Oh, we see the hook going down on towards 1-8, but it's only level 1, nothing too crazy just yet. Level 2 is going to be hit here, but the E wasted by Hikaku Uchiha means that MX Data is just going to take a lot of punishment, but no kill there.
Could have been a really good opportunity to thread. And this is something that has happened both games, where early on always bot lane gets wide or really well pinched into their side by the level 1, not respecting the potential. Then level 2 is also something that ends up not being respected, and they take way too much damage than they actually needed to take.
Yeah, also from those Hosen, gonna hit that level 3 spike, and Rutledge gonna go for a great sidestep on towards that Rupture, and Rutledge forced to burn the flash already. The volatility.
Yeah, that's not the best.
Jeez.
Oh, Maokai is also coming here.
Yeah, MX Tato going in, the hook goes wide from Kanaina, the flash! Oh, the
no.
W all the way downtown! Kanaina gonna be in trouble, and it looks like the kill is gonna be donated over towards 1E318. That's gonna be first blood going over towards the Optimal Esports bot lane. Elsa from Frozen might be in trouble here, but no flash on Rutledge. Is Elsa gonna greet it? Is gonna have the flash of all the Rupture at the very tip! The not gonna be able to pick up the kill there, TDS. CBR in shambles right now. Rutledge voids something about void champions and Rutledge. It's just not working out for Charles in the top lane right now.
I really think Elsa there ends up being way too greedy, not respecting that having to flash there was probably the best option. Almost dies, but it's really not working out for Rutledge. They're really close, but no cigar at the end. They end up not getting the kill, and in comparison, the first blood in the bot lane does go to the side of OE and does go to the AD carry, the best champion to get that first blood. Really good start to the game for OE. I don't think that CB Rush has done anything extremely badly apart from maybe Kanaina's flash. Kanaina flashing after the Maokai already did the W in that situation, and it's coming back.
Oh, speaking of Maokai, no flash this time on the Thresh, and it looks like Kanaina might be in more trouble. We see the Ignite going down. What? MX Data
what was that?
flashes in towards the Thresh hook. It's gonna go for that headbutt pulverize combo as well. The W is gonna root up the Thresh. Hikaku Uchiha is gonna be able to trade one kill, but it's looking like that's gonna be all she wrote for that. Zaya there. 1E18 is able to pick up another kill in towards that bot lane. A bit of a curious timing in terms of that bottom lane synergy, but at the end of the day, still a winning play for the OE bot lane.
Yeah, you get one, but the enemy takes two. I think that's really valuable for OE. Obviously, another kill for the Kai'Sa. It's still just applying so much pressure. Like we talk about how their composition needs to begin spiking much earlier on, and that's exactly what they do. They are trying to force the game to go their way really early on, and they're doing a really good job at that.
Yeah, I mean, just look at this. Also from Frozen bullying Rutledge, just forcing him off that control ward, not letting him walk back to lane, defending the control ward. Has to pick up the wave eventually, but you know, that match. Oh, MX Tato coming out of nowhere in the mid lane, forcing the flash out of the Victor. Great Roman. Once again, you know, OE just going with this heavy committal comp, you know, getting a lot of stuff on the map, on the board already, TDS.
Really doing Rutledge.
I mean, it just doesn't stop, does it? Rutledge, no flash on the Maokai. Hunter Wolfsteal staring down the barrel of his own teammate. Gives the kill over towards Elsa from Frozen, and Hunter Wolfsteal really driving that point. Rutledge, you should have picked me instead.
Oh, Hikaku. Now it's coming from MX Taro as well. MX State.
Actually, all great buffer on the all combo as well. Uses that W first against the wall. Qs for the knock of the Lantern is gonna be able to save Hikaku Uchiha in the end. So we're all chilling there, but once again, so dangerous.
The Lantern salvages the situation there for Desaya, but it's not salvaging how the game has been going so far for CB Rush. I thought the start wasn't necessarily the worst thing possible, but so far with 4 kills now in their favor, so many good movements coming in from Hunter Wolves in those ganks, and then allowing for everyone on the side of OE to just keep on getting ahead. Like the only one that is not getting ahead fully or massively is the Galio, and it's not like you care that much about that. Galio is a support champion essentially, or a supportive champion. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, we see the ball lane as well, a little bit of dicey. Actually, we see the Galio running on in. He has a ghost pop. Look at that chicken go, TDS. This is not looking good for the bot lane of CBR. No teleports available from any of the solo laners. We do see mid coming in here, but is it gonna be enough? Zaya, half health. MX Tato is gonna get tank first. Gonna go for the combo on towards the knockup on 1-3, the taunt on towards 3. It's just a rule of threes, TDS. Everyone from the side of OE survives. And that's a 3-for-nothing dive, perfectly executed from the side of MX Tato, from the side of Epi Champion. And Profiteer, no flash on the Victor as well. You look at the knockback as well, getting him out of that tower range. It's looking doom and gloom. 1-8 at 7 minutes. Worry brothers, TDS.
That's even more disastrous. The fact that they even get Prophet of Tears at the end, I really don't know why he thought that was going to be a better situation. He was walking into 4 champions.
That was illegal.
Yeah, it just shouldn't work out that well, but the dive was beautifully executed from OE. They layer down everything perfectly. They have every bit of CC perfectly working out in that situation. The Kai'Sa tanked a bit, which probably wasn't the best, forcing her flash out, but at the end of the day, who cares? She gets the kills, gets a full Kraken Slayer on the back, or not full, gets a Kraken Slayer on the back, and this Kai'Sa is already online.
I mean, it's looking, I mean, quite frankly, TDS, who let them cook like this? My goodness. OE are just jumping out the gates already. Kraken Slayer mythic item done already at 8 minutes. Last game, it was like 11 minutes on the server. This game, 8-minute Kraken Slayer. Fastest mythic item on the map. You look at the Maokai ult as well going down. This Thresh is dead as hell. Once again, you know, they're OE are just cooking up CBR right now. Rutledge maybe wishing he was still playing in the mid lane instead, because right now, you know, Profiteers, everyone's just getting cooked on the map right now. Hunter Wolfsteal is gonna get chunked on out. MX Tato, look at the position here. Galio ult to follow up the set. Wandi ult going wide. Victor, no flash remender. TDS might be in trouble. The taunt coming on in the CC. It's just layering off. The Kai'Sa not gonna be able to pick up the kill though. That Thresh Lantern is getting him out to safety. But once again, CBR are just kind of flailing in misery right now. They're getting worked.
That was so effective from OE. At the end there, they could have gotten that kill. They tried to give it a little bit too much to the Kai'Sa, but they are still running the rip at this point. Rutledge doing a lot of damage. Couldn't even get the kill here.
Yeah, stat checking the hell out of Elsa from Frozen right now, but the flash and leap strike is gonna get him to safety. I mean, the matchup is Cho'Gath favored early on, but you know, once you get those items on Jax, you know, with a kill in hand, he's gonna hit that Bork sooner, he's gonna hit that Sunder sooner, so, you know, Elsa from Frozen has to be patient, not let that Cho'Gath kind of just be way too tanky.
surprised it's not a Sunder first kind of game for Elsa from Frozen, but I think it's okay. Between the Sunder and the Blade of the Ring King, like you can make an argument for both about how effective they can be against tanks. So it's not like the worst itemization possible, but those traits are going to be something to keep more in mind, especially now with Sejuani top lane.
Yeah, we see Might running down running up in towards that top lane, but just a bit too early. Elsa from Frozen just able to get on out of there, and right now, you know, it's not looking good, TDS. It's a 3,400 gold lead this early on in the game. Dragon gone over to OE. It looks like they want to pass for that Rift Herald too. Alistar, MX Tato already in towards that top side. What on earth can CBR do here?
I think the best thing they can do, like we were saying, is buy time. They need to wait. They need to allow for, oh wait, Might is getting engaged.
Yeah, I mean, it should be just a little bit of a disengagement, but you know, you're telling CB Rush to wait, but I don't think OE want to.
Well, I think they don't need to overcommit it here from CB Rush. So as long as OE is not the one that is starting things out in their side, everything should be fine enough. The main issue is obviously this Kai'Sa having so much gold that they need to be able to shut her down in a way as soon as possible would be the most ideal. And then also just delaying the bleed as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean, Elsa from Frozen wants to keep the bleeding going, though. Gonna go for the all-in on towards Roger, but Mike with the flash ultimate. And it looks like Elsa from Frozen gonna be a little bit melted down here. MX Tato is gonna look for the retaliation follow-up and messes up the combo. Twisted Advance does go down to root the Sejuani, but there's not gonna be enough follow-up. MX Tato does have that flash, but I don't think that's one you want to take. They want to be able to force these plays in towards the top side, though. We see the teleport coming in from off the tiers as well. This might not be good for the side of OE, but the rest of the squad is able to get on out of there. MX Tato might be a little bit of trouble, forced to pop the Unbreakable Will. Sejuani is in range as well, but it looks like the side of OE are just going to walk on out that Victor Laser. Not going to be enough damage to be able to pick up the kill here. In towards the bottom lane as well. There's going to be an all-in coming in. The hook is going to be able to land on towards 1 on 8. And it looks like the 800 gold shutdown is going to go over to Hikaku Uchiha. And DDS, I think CBR heard us talking some shit there. They're starting to bounce back.
Hey, they're looking for the plays, and I respect them looking for the plays. I will say though, like they cannot commit the mistakes that OE is doing. The kill on Elsa, to a certain degree, I understand it. It was a flash from Mate, from all over the side, and it ends up working out really well. They get countered on the top side, which I think is good for OE, but the Kai'Sa can never die in that situation. Like, you know you are alone in bot lane because no one is close by, and the enemy team knows this as well. So if you walk too far forward, you're just giving yourself up to get killed by Kanaina, by Hikaku down there in the bot lane. Really big mistake from the Kai'Sa in this particular time. I don't think that it's the worst for OE just yet because they still are ahead, and ideally it was for them. The important part was for them to be ahead in gold early on so that they can play their composition, but it's giving unnecessary resources back to CB Rush.
Yeah, absolutely. The gold lead did, you know, balloon from 3,400 down to 2,000. Only a couple, yeah, only like the 800 gold from that Xayah kill, but Xayah on that late reset is relatively even to Kai'Sa, but she's not going to be there on time. Means that OE should be able to pick up this dragon.
Second dragon, it's going to be a Hex tick, I think, or is it Chem tick?
The Hex gates activate DDS.
Okay, Hex
like we're gonna have that Hex Soul coming on in. And oh, they're gonna look for that mid lane die here. Prophet of Tears not taking the lantern, just gonna be able to walk on out. Should be able to live handy dandy. But you know, once again, OE just being so proactive, looking for these plays, looking for a lot of engaging here. Looks like they are gonna get the flay on towards MX Tato, but not enough damage. That Victor not scaled nearly enough here. Might is hovering on the side, does have that Sejuani already, but again, no fight going on here. You see Elsa Formosa gonna get that Bork proc on towards Rutledge here. Rutledge, can he be able to take the punishment? Oh, look at the Bork spike, TDS. That's a lot of damage raining down in. He wants to keep going. Tanks a tower shot, and he will dodge out on the rupture. Rutledge is forced to back off.
Yeah, I don't think taking a turret shot was part of the plan for Elsa there. I think if Elsa pops the ultimate, it probably gets enough damage and resistances to be much more aggressive in that trade. Ooh, Elsa, you're getting collapsed
Yeah,
here.
oh, we see the... Oh, Kanaina goes completely wide. Might want to see the return kill here, but Elsa from Frozen just going to get snapped up, and Might picks up that return kill. A little bit of over-aggression coming in from the OE top lane. Here we see the flash coming in from Hunter Will Steal. Great flash ult return from Hikaku Uchiha, trading the summoners there, but with 3 minutes until that next dragon, I still think that's good for the side of OE. They want the Xayah to have no flash. They want to be able to get on her, and going for a play like that is able to set them up. We see MX Tato walking into their Xayah here, but no commitment there.
What was the plan there from MX Data? Just put pressure, put like showcase your dominance, showing that you're there and you're not going to allow Hikaku to run away that effectively. It doesn't turn into anything, and like you're pointing out, I do like the fact that they got the flash from the Saya much more so than having the flash from the Maokai, because you still have Alistar or Galio to engage.
Oh, you want to go for the engage here, but looks like Hunter Wolf's still going to take way too much damage. Galio ult is going to come down late. MX Tato might be in trouble here. I don't know how long you'll be last for, but 1E318 said, call my lover, baby. Let me hit you up with the damage. Picks up the 2 kills for the side of Optimal Esports. And it looks like even though it's going to be a 1 for 2, they still want to look for retaliation.
Oh, Hikaku!
Popped by FP Champion as well. No ultimate available on the Xayah. The follow-up is just so much. 1E318 picks up another one. Zipco looking like he's delivering these kills over onto the Kai's 7-1 and 3. Top tower going towards Elsa for Frozen. And just when we thought, oh, we were slipping away, they bring us right back in.
They were slipping up just a bit, but they turned the situation super effectively. Great Maokai ultimate, hitting so many targets. The Galio ultimate as well, getting the Galio in position to go for the fight. And that created superiority in numbers, because Galio was responding to the Saya in bot lane. But because the Saya cannot rotate as quick as the Galio, that is a pretty easy fight for them to win at the end. Really good rotation, really nice fight that the side of OE gets. They blow, I don't like that they blow the flash from the Alistar, because that was the other flash that you can use when you want to force a fight, especially for the dragon. I didn't think it was needed even, because it was a kill into the Saya. But all in all, they do get the value, they do get the gold, and these guys are now with 2 items. Why don't you go for the Nabori is my main question here.
I mean, I think, you know, the argument can be made that like the empowering items are a little bit of a trap, because, you know, I think something to do with like the damage scaling and that sort of thing. But PD again offers a lot of good kite ability. I can understand where the item choice is coming from.
I would understand it if you didn't need to spike. The issue is that they need to win the game like before 30 minutes. So they need to spike early. That's why I think that's better.
Oh, Sejuani going wide there. Rutledge might be punished here. Might not be able to connect the best, but Rutledge, nom, picks up the kill on towards Elsa from Frozen.
If Elsa flashes there, I think gets the kill before Rutledge kill, before she gets stunned. The Jax gets stunned. And I think that's the biggest mistake there from Elsa, not flashing in to follow up onto the kill. Really good punishment. I think Jax will be back for the... Yeah, Jax is back for the next dragon, so it's not the worst for OE. But this Jax has died more times than probably needed.
Yeah, I mean, Jax already looking good on the items from now. CBR are gonna give up hitting the mid tower.
They're getting this Herald.
They are playing for the Lantern Rage, but MX Tato is in great position here. They want to look for the combo on the Xayah. Xayah, no flash, crucially, remember. Ultimate is forced out already. Any other dive tool with means is really good here. Look at Kaisa jumping back on it, assassinating Hikaku Uchiha. Looking like his clan ain't gonna survive that one. Teleport coming in from Rutledge here. Able to get on towards the Kaisa, maybe no. The silence not going to be enough. Rutledge able to pick up the kill on towards MX Tato. The Prophet of Tears might be in trouble here. Does have that flash on Victor. Needs to use it now or never. Not going to be able to. Holding on to it for a little bit too long. Ooh. The Kaisa ult going to be down the set. The Galio not going to be able to save the Kaisa there, but it's still going to be an ace for the side of Optimal Esports.
It's a 2 for 5, pretty much. On the side of OE, Thresh just respawn, but you get every bit of value. Kaisa at the end does die, which is a really good shutdown, but they get what they really wanted. I'm not sure if they are going to be able to get this dragon before the side of CB Rush comes in, or before the Sejuani comes in, because of the damage that they have, but maybe I'm underestimating the damage right now. Yeah, probably can get it, yeah. Sejuani will not be spawning, even with the Hex Gates, they probably don't get here on time. So great fight, soul point achieved by the way. And if they are able to get this soul before the 30-minute mark, which I think should be possible, I don't expect them to lose the next dragon in a fight. I think that should be enough to be able to push them over the line to try and close out the game.
Absolutely, and I mean, crucially too, Elsa Frozen still holding on to that teleport advantage now, so this should be a lot of great map pressure that OE should be able to generate through the Jax split here. And you know, the Sejuani was able to pick up the Kaisa shutdown, but I don't know if that's the shutdown you wanted on. Might be in a trouble, but the Lantern able to bail her out.
Yeah, nothing really bad happens in that situation. I still think that CB Rush is not in a completely bad spot. That is a lot of damage that Rolich is taking though.
Ooh, yeah, Rutledge able to get the hard steal trade, but will it be enough? Might walking in up towards this top lane. They're gonna go for the formula that has worked out every single time so far. Also from Frozen does pop the Grandmaster's Might, but Might just picks up that kill with the hard steal there, and you know, Heartsteel is an item on Sejuani. I don't know if that's what I would have went. We see here Kaina going in on towards MX Tato here. Gonna walk out of that gravity field though. Gonna look for the potential turn. Another hook land on towards Alistar here. That's a lot of kills, a lot of gold going over in towards some of the champions on the side of CBR with the Baron up. They might just look for it, but I don't know if this is the fight you want to take. Maokai still up. Galio is walking a bit far away. This could look a bit testy here from the side of CBR. If they are able to get this Baron, it would be absolutely huge here. Teleport coming in from Elsa from Frozen. They want to look for this fight. They don't get the steal off in time, but Elsa from Frozen able to get a two-man stun, forces the Xayah ult super early. Xayah does have flash available to Kaisa, jumping on it on towards Kakuchiya. Kakuchiya gets assassinated immediately by Elsa from Frozen. They're gonna go for the chase on towards Profiteers. No flash available on this Victor, but great gravity able to get the zone. I'm afraid that's not enough here. Worry brothers, CBR get the Baron, but CBR lose 3 in return.
I think it's still worth for CBR though. There's no other objective that it's massively as important as the Baron at this point in the game. Dragon spawns in 3 minutes, so you can fight for that with the advantages that the Baron will net you. You also, yes, you lose your Xayah and your Victor, which are your 2 biggest carries, but your Split Pusher, which is the Cho'Gath, which is answering to the Jax, is going to respond to the play. Sejuani can still join the rest of the members, so you're not losing the Baron value. I think for CB Rush, this was a really good play, and getting the Baron to try and get back a lot of the gold that they are missing, it's a really good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Gold lead sitting at around just under 4,000 now. So, you know, if we're talking about gold lead, it hasn't gone up that much relative to, you know, where we were 10 minutes ago, TDS. And if I'm the side of CB Rush, I'm really happy with that information. What I'm a little bit worried about is just how my carries are, you know, significantly behind. Look at the Epi champion. Look at the 25 Magi stacked Galio. Look at the Kaisa, 10 and 2 right now, building towards that Navori quick blade third. So, you know, CBR are gonna be able to get the Baron, but we see the Maokai coming in from the side. Cho'Gath gonna get CC'd up, but I don't know if you want to engage on that though. Galio coming on in, the taunt, going away the carries as well. Kaisa jumping on in, not gonna be able to get enough damage off yet. CBR Rutledge is getting at the top. The Struck down 650 gold. The Xayah root, the Victor ult is doing work. This might be CBR's fight, TDS. Epic champion extremely low as well. The Zhonya's buying so much time. The Xayah ult buying a lot as well. The pullback is huge. And it's looking like CBR have their fight, TDS. Ace for CBR.
They get it. Finally, they get the fight. And I told you, that's the issue when having a champion like the Cho'Gath having the gold. Yes, your carries don't have the gold, but Cho'Gath one-shots your carry, so it doesn't even matter. If your carry has the gold, he's dead anyway. He cannot kill the Cho'Gath. Doesn't go for the item that would allow him to kill the Cho'Gath anyway. Bad itemization coming in from 1E318 in my eyes. I think misplays that. That's one of the main reasons why the Cho'Gath doesn't die. And nobody's paying attention to the Cho'Gath either. Everyone is focused on diving, but that's why we talked about this on the draft. You need to commit to the dive as a team. One member doesn't dive, guess what happens? They die because they are completely separated, and also the dive doesn't work as effectively. It's a really bad thing for all now.
MX Tato getting caught out here. The CC is just layered everywhere. Rutledge picks up another kill. How much health does this Cho'Gath have? If we can get a little bit of a check from production on that, it'll be great to know. But, you know, the tables are turning. 4K, 5K health on CBR Rutledge here. This is the legacy series from the Blue Water League Platinum Go here. He wants to keep his team alive. He wants to show the doubters that him swapping lanes is not a fluke. It's not a miracle. That he is him. They're going to look on towards Hunter Wolf Steel here. Not going to be able to force anything out. Just gets the Radiant Virtue, gets the ultimate proc down. And with this Soul Point Dragon being denied once again, I think CBR in the winning position now, TDS.
I think, honestly, getting this chance to get the Drake, I think this is game for CBR. I hate to call it out like this, but we talked about a window. The window is pre-30 minutes. The next dragon will come about the time that 30 minutes is hit. So Saya will get 3 items. Victor will get 3 items, even 3.5. Cho'Gath feels unkillable. The Kai'Sa messed out on her mark. The Jax, it's still valuable, but it just feels so difficult to now try and say that OE has the same grip on the game like they did in the previous minutes, and it just feels so hard to me. I will say though, maybe I'm exaggerating here. Probably shouldn't give the game so early on because there's still fight on the side of OE. But it's just that this sort of games always fall into this pattern where they don't close it out when they could have, and they gave the gold back to the other side. CB Rush now feels really in a comfortable place.
Yeah, I think right now we're in that position where, it's just, it's difficult because, there's so much tankiness on the 2 frontline members. You have that Thresh getting picks like that. We see the Galio coming in on towards 3 though. That's a lot of AoE CC. That's a lot of damage going down. Jack in towards the backline. Also from Frozen evaporating on Lucia. We see the Kai'Sa killer instinct coming on in. And just like that, we find their fight. Prophet of Tears, no flash available. It does Elsa from Frozen have that leaf strike getting on in. Can he deal enough damage? Waiting out the Zhonya's. Going to jump on in one more time. Get that trade. I would take that if I'm the Jags. 4 for 1 for the side of Optimal Esports. And, that was beautiful. Overcommitment from CBR trying to get the pick on the wrong champions and getting punished because of it. Rutledge looking like his days are numbered too. He's trying to run away from the BOL Yi police right now. Singing that alcove, trying to get on out of there. I don't know.
Kai'Sa, please get him. I hope that he doesn't is able to sacrifice himself. Execute it.
Okay, TS, hear me out. They're delaying the death timers so that they could get a better ban.
I take that explanation. If I'm honest, I think that is smart. If that's the case, it's really smart. Exactly. That's really, really smart if that's the case. Because Cho'Gath is also the one that I feel the most likely to steal the Baron if it falls into a 50-50. More so than the smite for the Sejuani. The threshold to get that kill is quite high. Still, at the end though, that fight works out, and that's why I always hate calling out a winner, because that always can happen. You commit too much, you end up paying the price. So I got a little bit blinded by the competition.
Now, speaking of commitments, he wants to go for the mid lane. The Ghost, everything popped out super early. Do they want to look on towards this? Hunter Wolf Steel jumping into Singapore here. Does have that flash to get on out of there. Doesn't look like he'll take it. He'll look for the engage back in though. 1e3 ain't gonna go on in though. Gonna be traded 1 for 1. I don't know if this is what you want, Optimal. Gonna go for that 2 for 1 there, and with a minute something as well, Dragon not gonna be able to lose the objective, but I don't know if this is the play they want to go for. This is looking like a hacky sack fight here. Just a bit too much commitment from the side of Optimal Esports. The Elsa Frozen wants to change that narrative. Gonna get CC for a year though. Gonna get chomped up by Rutledge there, FP champion. Looking for the kill. That's a heavy stacked Magi Galio, but it doesn't look like he's gonna be able to do on much there. The kill going over towards the Victor, another kill going over towards Rutledge, and after a disconnected fight there, TBR find another ace.
I don't know why both teams are competing for who can throw the most. We have had a sequence of fights in which both teams have tried the hardest between each other to throw the game. It makes absolutely no sense. It starts off with them getting Baron. They lost Baron, by the way. In that fight, everyone lost Baron. So they got Baron, lost it because they fought really badly, and pretty much just gave a back into the game for CB Rush. I don't think CB Rush is now going to counter throw it once again. I would expect not, right?
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, it was really just everyone was so disconnected. You saw, FP champion Hunter Wolf Steel already committed the Ghost, already committed the Twisted Advance. Then Hunter Wolf Steel, we think they're out, flashes back in, and then you just see, MX Tato and Elsa from Frozen just follow in after that too. And so it's just like a conga line of inting at this point, and OE don't get punished enough because the Hextech Drake is going to be up when all 5 members are up, thankfully for them. But with Flash back on Xayah and, some key cooldowns like the Ghost missing and the ult missing for Maokai, it might be a little bit dangerous.
They're really going to try and kill
Yeah, they are going to go on towards Rutledge once again. The Kai'Sa going to be in trouble. Is he going to be able to do enough damage here? He's in the front line. The Alistar tanking up so much, but is it going to be enough? The Maokai Ultra is coming down on it. They are going to trade 1 for 1 support for top laner so far. That Victor ult is doing so much damage. The laser is just being devastating. But FP champion dunks on him, coming on in. saving the day here. The taunt going down as well. Gives the kill over to the Kaisa. And like LeBron James, when he picks up the scoring record, announces his presence to the world here, TDS.
I don't think, yeah, they actually got the G8, thankfully. But what a hectic couple of events. They come from dying everyone. Now they win a 4v5. Galio came in at the end after they killed Shogath and I think the Sejuani as well, essentially. They killed the tanks. They melted through them and they get the soul finally. It took them way too long, guys. I think they should have gotten this in the previous Dragon. But still, they are en route now, potentially to get the game. This is one of the strongest souls in the game, and this is on a Kaisa that can try and back the backline.
Please.
He's fine. He's fine. He's fine. He's fine. He's fine. It's okay.
Surely. Now, Hextech Soul going over to the side of OE is absolutely huge, though. It gives them, you know, a lot of extra range, gives us that static shiv-like effect. It does a lot more attack speed, a lot more damage, really. And so, you know, they're in a good position. They reached a kind of late game, they hit a kind of insurance point for them where even though their champions may potentially fall off, they still have some late game help with that Dragon Soul. Crucially, I want to see what they are able to do now. Can they capitalize with the Soul? Can they pick up the Baron that's going to come up in 2 minutes? Can they find some kills? What is the next plan? Because with CBR, play out these fights right, the Victor damage, the Kaisa damage is very significant. How will it go?
Look at his massive, by the way. Like, I was watching the Rupture and he's like twice the size of the Rupture.
I mean, what can I say? CBR Rutledge, big player, big game player. Y'all are gonna see the hook on Kana. Oh, Kana goes in though. I don't know if you want to take that. That's a huge Cali ultimate. Look at where the Kaisa is, DDS. Look at the Kaisa. Look at the Kaisa. Free hitting all towards the back line. Also for Frozen tanking up a lot though, and it forces the flashes out of the two carries. 2 for 1 so far for the side of Optimal Esports. That's going to be this tier 2 mid tower going down here for the side of Optimal Esports. CBR Rutledge might be in a little bit of trouble,
He's
but
too tanky.
He's too tanky. They are going to be able to claim that. Baron is up next though, and I think CBR might have to start game planning about how they want to deal with that. No, wait, OE are just going to... still a minute to go. Never mind.
Still quite a bit for them to try and go for the Baron. Importantly, Baron is way before the Herald, which I think would have been the biggest win condition. The Elder, I mean, the biggest win condition if you get it on the side of CBR. Because that is way too much damage for this Shogat to be dealing onto Elder. I think he pretty much one-shots champions with just the Feast into Elder buff. Like, he pretty much just one-shots them at that point. So that is a really game-changing or game-winning condition for CB Rush. Baron, it's fightable, and I think they are going to try and contest it, especially because they can try and steal it, but it wouldn't be the worst thing if either gets it. Ooh.
Oh. See a lot of... You still see the flash commit from the side of Might here. What Kaisa said! Shutdown goes over to Rutledge! Legacy Series performance coming out for the BOL GOAT!
And what reason is there for Kaisa to be there? Whoever can explain me why Kaisa is there, please come forward, because I don't know. I have absolutely no
Oh, MX Halo's gonna be in trouble as well, TDS. That's gonna be a dead cow. That's gonna be Baron going over towards CB Rush.
Will Maokai try and stop the backs? Like, they are trying to push.
Yeah, they are. Oh, it does look like Maokai wants to go for the flip steal though. Oh! Fuck! Hunter Wolf Steel is him, TDS! Look, he's trying to cancel the recalls right now. They're going for the front door. I don't think they're going to be able to go for it though. Double TV coming down on towards the Nexus towers. And it looks like CBR able to dodge out on a bullet there. Hunter Wolf Steel against his former team picks up the Baron Steel. A little bit of trouble here. The Elsa from going to get engaged all towards everyone. Hukaku Uchiha just picked up a free kill. That's a crazy sequence, CS, and I think the only people to keep Baron would be Epi Champion and 1E318.
But honestly, Elsa dying is completely worthless. Like, it doesn't matter. You still have 3 champions left. You have Baron buff. You may lose the inhibitor. But like I was saying, without Baron, they cannot close out the game. They cannot die though.
Oh! I don't think they can take the inhibitor. They have the super minions. They have the Baron buff super minions. They have Hextech Soul. I think if they play the wave clear... Oh,
No,
okay,
they
never mind.
have way too they have way too many tanks, and Kai'Sa is still way too vulnerable at this point. So they will get the inhibitor, but I think the inhibitor it's completely useless to try and get it protected. It's not.
Yeah,
that
I think the
important.
biggest issue is that there's no
Rutledge?
LDR on the side of the Kai'Sa. Rutledge taking up a lot of damage though.
They're getting too many slows.
Yeah, oh, that Sejuani is going to buy them a lot of time, though. Kai'Sa does have that killer instinct. Do they want to take it 1:10 until the Elder Dragon? A kill for either side would mean that Elder would go over to one of them. This is a really dangerous scenario here. Epi Champion just walking on forward. They're just trying to force CBR all the way back. They're trying to walk them back. Galio is able to get the taunt towards to the Kahuya is used by Kaku Uchiha. Is there going to be a huge knockoff on the other side as well? The Kai'Sa punching up! Legacy performance! Rutledge is down! The Sejuani is going to go down as well! Zaya is dead as well! Thresh is gone! It's just going to be Prophet of Tears! And with the death timers at this rate, TDS, I don't think CBR can hold on!
I don't think they can either. 4 members dead. It's just a picture. Everyone is here. That's gonna be it. Yeah, the Kai'Sa is just going to try and push him off. That's it. That game. Please, just end it. Yeah, at this point, I think anything can happen. Anyone can throw until they kill the Nexus. They are just
they're going for the ego!
No, it's okay. It's okay. They get the win. They get the win. That's fine. They get the What a way to start the season, right?
What an opening day, TDS. That's all I can say. My goodness. That was a seesaw match right there. Back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. CBR thought they had the ticket back in. OE said no. OE then decided, hey, maybe we want to give you a chance. You know, give them a couple of kills. And CBR said, nah, you're being too nice. Just take the 2-0, man. And OE, I mean, they clutch it up in the end, but if you look at the damage charts, you see Victor 42k, Zaya 46k, you know, Kai'Sa did 48k, and it was a close game on the damage front. It was close on the gold front, but at the end of the day, just some silly decisions from CBR meant that they couldn't come back into the game.
I think that just shows that we're starting the season, because that's the sort of like mistakes that get corrected when you have more time with the team and more time with everyone playing and all that. As chaotic as it was, I think OE, with how it started, they should have won the game. So I feel like the winner was the one that did the better things at the start of the game. But with the amount of like throwbacks that each of the teams did, could have gone either way, really. It felt like Stevie Rush just said, if we don't get it clean, I'd rather not win. As well, to a certain degree.
Yeah, I mean, that was mental. Wow.
Way too many things happening on that match for it to just be the beginning, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I mean, if this is week 1 of CCS Novice, I don't know what we can expect for week 2.
Are we going to get to the last week?
Are we gonna make it out alive? I feel like I might lose some hair.
I have full expectations here now. If nobody can, if this is the best game of the season and we got on the first day, I think I feel scammed, if I'm honest.
Yeah, wow. I mean, I think we're gonna get an interview coming on in soon from Hunter Wolfsteal, the jungler from Optimal Esports. I mean, that'll definitely be, you know, a great little storyline there. But, you know, wow, TDS, I still can't wrap my head around like just how that whole series went.
There were too many things that happened. Certainly, it's not easy to pinpoint to specifics. Like, I feel good things. I will point out good things happened. They played well. They did good things. I think Rutledge had a really good game on the Cho'Gath. I think for the fact that he played a more tankier champion compared to the first game, allowed for him to be much free in how he approached the game. Had a couple of traits that could have gone worse for him, but overall the game 2 was amazing. So I think good thing to note on that.
Yeah, speaking of good things to note on, we have Hunter Wolfsteal 5 joining us here on the interview. How are you doing, my friend?
Doing pretty good, especially after that series. That was a fun one.
Yeah, I mean, you know, how does it feel to go up against your former team, your former teammates? How does it feel picking up, you know, kind of win? What were your thoughts going in towards a match where, you know, you can say there's no hard feelings involved, but the feelings are definitely there.
Oh yeah, for sure. I definitely wanted to win. Obviously, former team. I still have a lot of respect for like Rutledge and Pip. I think they're goated, even though Pip didn't play tonight. Going into it, like as soon as we realized they didn't have their full roster, kind of saddened by that. I wanted to see Rutledge in the jungle, but like he was a former top laner, so we're still getting somewhat of an experience. But I think I was most worried about like 0-2 or the ADC. Because I thought he was looking at his solo queue and like understanding like who he is. He's pretty good at ADC. But I think especially like both games, first game and second game, he just like could not play the game. We focused him and like he didn't have a lot of room to move around and like do his thing. He's had some fights on the Xayah towards the end where we griefed it a little bit, but otherwise, yeah. Everyone else I wasn't too worried about.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I particularly liked more the Sejuani game. If I'm honest, I felt much more controlled, much more decisive in how to engage. Obviously, less suicide bumps compared to the Maokai. I feel like, but still, overall, really good series. I think kind of showcase, or maybe this is my take on it, but I feel like you're more of the initiating role, like the one that wants to go in and takes the decision to go in for the team.
Yeah, they've nerfed my role like 4 times this season, so farming's definitely not optimal. So I'm always like taking the role of like initiating, like being that person. Like I did the same thing on CB Rush where I'm calling the shots, I'm trying to go in, I'm looking for the plays, I'm trying to keep things proactive. I think this series a lot, it showcased it a lot, especially on like the engaged like Maokai, Sejuani. I do agree that the Sejuani game was definitely more controlled. I feel like we had the lead the entire time. I think I got a little bit Mickey Mouse in the second game, like some of those fights, especially the one around mid. I think that was a little bit grief. But otherwise, like at a lot of the other parts, I think we were pretty controlled in the early game. I'm super happy with how we had a sub ADC tonight, 1E3, 1A. I'm super happy with how he performed. First comp experience and like first series in Novice. So I think he looked really good. When we get our main ADC back, we'll see what happens. But both threats to be reckoned with.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, speaking of threats to be reckoned with, across the board on, your on power rankings, on, preseason rankings from Chelsea, on preseason rankings from Storm, you guys are ranked as the team to beat. You guys are the, perceived as the best team in, CCS Novice right now. How do you think that kind of mantle is going to affect you as you perform into season? And do you think you can live up to that expectation?
So I think a similar expectation was placed on like CB Rush. Like obviously, Dog Era came about last CCS season, but I think CB Rush was always held in the high regard. So I'm not really feeling a pressure per se. I definitely want to perform and definitely want to showcase that I can perform at a really high level, and especially with this team. I think we're all like top tier caliber players, so I think we'll have no problem showing up some of these other teams, especially the bottom tier teams. They shouldn't even be a thought. But I'm really excited to play. I think like Reign of Kings, and then I forget what the other top tier team is.
Big
But I'm
Chiller?
really Bing Chillers, yeah, because what's it called in intermediate, I play for a Bing Chillers roster, so it's gonna be very interesting. I think Dojos is mental booming, so we'll see how that goes. I think that team might be in the gutter in intermediate, his team, so we'll see. But I think we'll have a good time in these. There'll be a lot of fun series to come, especially from our team, and I think we'll just be top tier contenders.
Yeah, I mean, if you have Matt G in the mid lane, I would mental boom too, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Dog. But anyways, TS, you have any more questions for our beloved guest?
I would think the final one is like it feels like you're confident. It feels like you're ready to just trash talk and back the trash talk up with almost any team and anyone that comes up. But if you were to try and look for the future patches, because we know that this game changes always, are you excited for potentially having a more carry-oriented role in the future, or do you think that you're just going to stay like this and win like this?
I whenever like the meta changes, like especially like last season to this season, a lot of the time my Hackrim was getting banned, my Wukong, like a lot of the more the carry junglers that I played. So I think my role is always changing. Like I always still want to be like the initiator. I think that's what I do best on teams, especially like the shot calling and some of the macro. But if there's like a carry meta that comes about, I'll definitely play it. I play a majority of the carries. So I'm always willing to like change. Like they're gonna nerf demonic next pass. We'll see how that goes. Maybe it will be more of a carry meta. But yeah, I'm always adjusting to the meta.
Well, thank you so much. Once again, Hunter Wolf Steel 5 for joining us on the interview. Congratulations on the 2-0, and quite frankly, we're looking forward to your continued success, continued confidence going into the rest of the CCS Novice League. Thank you so much once again.
Yeah, thank you for the casting, Jasoncript and TDS. Fun night.
Jasoncript.
Jasoncript. My bad. Jasoncript. My apologies. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was a banger of an opening night for the CCS Novice League. That's going to be it from me and TDS. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. And, we'll see you next week.
Worry, brother.